Imagine this. You've spent decades refining your life. You eat the organic greens. You take the expensive supplements. You try to hit your steps. You care deeply about how you age. But every single morning, within the first 10 minutes of opening your eyes, you might be committing a biological crime against your own body. A mistake so subtle, so common, that we've mistaken it for a necessary routine. It's not what you're eating. It's not even how much you're sleeping. It's the state of your inner ocean, the moment you sit down for that first meal. By inner ocean, I simply mean the fluid environment that your cells float in. Just like fish need clean, abundant water to survive, your cells need this internal sea to be full and balanced. Welcome to Mindful Aging. I'm so glad you found us. If you are dedicated to not just living longer, but living better, with more energy, clarity, and vitality, please take a moment right now to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. By joining our community, you aren't just watching a video, you're committing to a smarter, kinder way of aging. Today, we are deconstructing a critical biological mechanism that reveals why your healthy breakfast might actually be making you tired, bloated, and, most importantly, accelerating the internal wear and tear we call aging. If you've ever felt heavy after breakfast, if you've ever wondered why your morning coffee gives you a jittery crash instead of a clean boost, or why you wake up feeling groggy even after 8 hours of sleep, the answer isn't in your cup. It's in your cells. The nightly theft. Why you wake up in a desert. Let's look at the science of the dry night. While you were sleeping, you might think your body was passive, but biologically, it was running a marathon. We call it rest, but for your internal systems, it's the busiest shift at the factory. Your brain was engaging what scientists call the glymphatic system. Think of this simply as your brain's nightly janitorial service. It opens up tiny plumbing channels to power wash away the toxic waste and debris that built up while you were thinking all day. Your liver was filtering blood, processing the day's debris. Your heart beat roughly 20,000 times while you dreamt. Your cells were repairing DNA damage. And all of that work requires a currency. That currency is water. Think about it. For 6, 7, or 8 hours, you have had zero intake. But the outgo never stopped. Every breath you exhaled into your pillow carried a microscopic mist of moisture, what doctors call insensible water loss. This is just a fancy way of saying water was vanishing into thin air, like a slow leak in a tire you can't see. Every degree of body heat regulated through your skin was a withdrawal from your hydration bank. Your kidneys continued to filter waste, creating urine that concentrated overnight. By the time the sun hits your face, you are not just thirsty. You are biologically depleted. You are waking up in a physiological desert. Your blood is slightly thicker, like sludge instead of oil. Your cells are slightly shrunken, like a grape starting to turn into a raisin. And your brain volume has actually decreased slightly due to lack of fluid. In the context of mindful aging, this is critical. As we age, our thirst mechanism, the signal from brain to throat, actually becomes less sensitive. Your body might be screaming for water, but your brain is only whispering. This is the dehydration gap. And it is into this dangerous gap that most people throw their first meal of the day. The chemical stomach. Why water is the master key. Now, let's talk about the mistake. You walk into the kitchen. You smell the toast. You hear the coffee maker. You're hungry. But here is what is happening inside your stomach, the chemical lab of the body. Digestion is not just mechanical grinding. It is a high-stakes, fluid-dependent chemical reaction. To break down that protein, to process those healthy fats, your body needs 3 primary tools. First, stomach acid, hydrochloric acid, to sanitize and break down food. Second, digestive enzymes, which act like tiny scissors cutting food molecules into fuel. Third, bile, which acts like a detergent to wash and break apart fats. Here is the physiological secret you must understand. Every single one of those fluids is over 90% water. If you are dehydrated when you take that first bite, your body has to panic. It has to borrow water from your blood, your skin, or your organs to create those digestive juices. It's like trying to run a professional kitchen where the taps have run dry. You can't clean the pans, you can't boil the pasta, and the whole system starts to smoke and seize up. Without the water, the work stops. When you eat while dehydrated, your stomach acid is too concentrated, too strong and harsh, or too sparse to work. Your bile becomes thick and sluggish, like glue instead of soap, leading to poor fat absorption. The protective mucus lining of your stomach, which is 98% water, becomes thin, leaving you vulnerable to irritation and heartburn. The result? The food sits there. It ferments. It creates gas. It creates that brick in the stomach feeling. You aren't aging poorly, you're just trying to digest in a drought. The coffee trap. Sabotaging the morning engine. We have to talk about the great morning ritual, coffee. For many of us, coffee is the start button for our lives. But if you press that button before you rehydrate, you are engaging in biological sabotage. Coffee is a diuretic, yes, but the problem goes deeper. Caffeine is a stimulant that triggers a cortisol spike. Cortisol is your body's main stress hormone. It's the built-in alarm system meant to help you run from a tiger, not eat a bagel. When you introduce this stress chemical into an empty, dehydrated stomach, you are amplifying the body's fight or flight signal when you should be easing into the day. You are forcing your kidneys to work even harder to filter your blood, pulling even more precious fluid from your system to process the caffeine. You're asking your heart to pump thick blood that is more viscous because the water content is low, through a system that is now constricted by caffeine. This is why so many people feel that mid-morning slump, or that tired but wired sensation. It's not the coffee wearing off. It's your body finally collapsing under the weight of trying to process a stimulant and a meal while in a state of crisis. At Mindful Aging, we believe in the golden buffer. This is simply a safety zone, a period of time protecting your body between waking up and asking it to do work. If you don't respect the buffer, you pay the price in inflammation. And inflammation is the fast track to aging. The Mindful Aging Protocol, the 20-minute rule. So, how do we fix it? How do we reclaim our mornings and our longevity? It is simpler than you think, but it requires discipline. The science suggests a primary pivot: water first, food second. Here is the Mindful Aging 3-step protocol. Step 1, the first 16. Before you touch the coffee handle, before you open the fridge, you consume 16 ounces of room temperature or slightly warm water. Why warm? Because ice-cold water can shock the stomach lining. Imagine throwing ice water on a hot engine, it seizes up. Warm water relaxes the gastrointestinal tract and encourages movement. Step 2, the 20-minute buffer. Wait 20 to 30 minutes after drinking before you take your first bite or sip your coffee. This isn't dead time. This is the time it takes for that water to be absorbed into your bloodstream, rehydrating your cells. Think of it as soaking a dry sponge. It needs a moment to expand before it can do its job. This allows your stomach to manufacture the fresh digestive juices needed for your meal. Step 3, the mindful observation. Notice the difference. In this 20-minute window, move your body. Stretch, breathe, let the inner ocean level out. When you finally do eat, you'll notice something miraculous. The bloating? Gone. The post-meal brain fog? Lifted. The heaviness? Replaced by clean, sustainable energy because your body finally has the resources it needs to process fuel. Beyond the meal, the long-term vision. Why does this matter for the long game? Why is this a cornerstone of our philosophy here at Mindful Aging? Because aging is the accumulation of small stresses. If you stress your digestive system every morning for 30 years, that's 10,000 instances of unnecessary inflammation. That's 10,000 times you've forced your heart to pump thicker blood. That's 10,000 times you've deprived your brain of the hydration it needs for cognitive clarity and toxin removal. By fixing this one mistake, you aren't just making breakfast better. You are changing the trajectory of your cellular health. You are signaling to your body that you are no longer in survival mode, just barely getting by, but in thrive mode, where you have enough resources to repair and grow. You are giving your cells the environment they need to repair, rather than just react. You are investing in your future self, one glass of water at a time. Tomorrow morning, you will stand at a crossroads. On one side is the old habit, the dry throat, the immediate coffee, the rushed breakfast, and the inevitable afternoon crash. On the other side is the mindful path, the glass of warm water, the 20-minute wait, the respect for your internal chemistry. This protocol is a gift of simplicity in a world of complex health advice. Don't ruin your first meal. Don't starve your enzymes of the one thing they need to serve you. Give your body the water it lost in the night. Let your inner ocean rise. And then, and only then, break your fast. This is Mindful Aging. If this resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because aging isn't about the years in your life. It's about the life and the hydration in your years. Until next time, drink deep, eat mindfully, and age with grace.